Greetings and salutations, Dave Duford here. Hope you guys are having a pleasant day. Thank you so much for attending our webinar, which is about automating your insurance agency and becoming a top producer in 90 days or less. Let's get started. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to double or even triple your production without pounding the phone and without sacrificing your work-life balance. I really appreciate you joining me here today. We're going to be covering a lot of stuff, so I like to set aside 2 hours for this webinar. We will likely talk for around an hour and a half, and then I'll introduce a limited time and limited capacity deal, then open up for questions and answers that you may want to ask. This webinar will show you how automating your insurance agency can increase production 2 to 3 times while saving you 20 hours per week. If you want the cheapest way to get started doing this, stick around until the very end, and I'll show you how agents have done just this in the last 6 months to get this ridiculous ROI. Also, please don't worry about trying to take extensive or asking questions until the end. There are close to 1,000 people registered, really, so it will take a long time. We might open up the chat later if we have some time, okay? Now, before we continue, here's what you're going to discover during this workshop. Number 1, how you can close more business without making more phone calls. Number 2, how you can increase production without sacrificing your family or personal time and without spending hours and hours on the phone. Number 3, the counterintuitive way to isolate your top prospects so you can spend more time with white-hot leads and quit wasting time with time wasters. Number 4, how you can stand out from the thousands of other agents selling the same policies to the same leads. So what is my promise to you? You'll leave here with a step-by-step strategy for leveraging automation technology to produce more in less time and with less effort without Number 1, spending a ton of money on advertising. Number 2, hiring another guru. Number 3, creating marketing funnels or websites. Number 4, without learning how to code or hiring developers. Number 5, without figuring out how to integrate anything. Number 6, without spending time on trial and error, trying to produce your own way of doing things. We will be showing you the most effective way to get an automated system in place for your insurance business. Plus, some crucial things you need to understand before you even think about starting to automate your business. But first, does this sound like you? You have a special gift in being able to sell yourself to your clients once you get in the door, but you spend too much time landing that appointment. Does this sound like you? Do you buy weekly leads to get consistent results and know you're leaving potential sales left untouched but aren't able to follow up with all of them consistently? What about this? Do you want to hit 3, 5, or even 10 times your production without having to become a slave to calling or sacrificing your work-life balance? Are you tired of the gurus selling you on their leads, advertising or marketing funnels while never seeing a return on your investment? Do you understand the importance of automation and have looked for a solution and none of them have met your expectations? Have you tried other systems that were described as turnkey or done for you, but ended up being too confusing or too much work to get any results? Are you scared to calculate the amount of money you've spent on leads as an insurance agent? Are you struggling to break free from the day-to-day grind of cold calling? Most people here today are looking to increase their business, but for those making enough money already, between the number of hours you're putting in and the amount of money you're contributing towards leads, and the fact that your time is directly tied to your production, do you ever wonder if it's all worth it? Maybe you already know that what you do day after day could be improved through an automated system, but you don't have the time, you don't have the money, and you don't have the knowledge to pull together the services to make it happen. Do you wish you had 10 copies of yourself to achieve your goals? Most of what we've been told about becoming a top producer is completely wrong. So what's the real problem? You're missing a system that works for you. You already know this, right? I'm going to assume you've tried creating a schedule for yourself. I'm going to assume you've tried time blocking, or you've tried creating a checklist or a process for yourself. You've tried social media. You've tried a power dialer. You tried asking for referrals. You've tried paying someone to generate a lead or make a website for this or that. Or the worst, you've tried incentivized marketing, putting money into advertising for something like a gift card to generate horrible leads that won't convert because, well, you incentivize them to opt in for a gift card. These things could work if done right, but you find it didn't work for you. So how do I know that? You're here today to solve that problem. So how do you do it? You need a proven system that works for you, not your IMO, not the guru you hired and promised the world but couldn't deliver, and not your upline, not your downline, you. I have a theory I learned from some bright guys I'm about to hand this off to in a bit. Their theory goes like this. If you are the best at converting your leads, you will ultimately be the winner. Everything else falls into place automatically. If you can acquire leads, if you can convert them into a sale and make enough money to be worth your time, then you'll ultimately be happier, more successful, able to recruit a bigger and better team, able to spend more time with your family, able to take breaks and a vacation. Sounds pretty good, right? That's why we're all here, isn't it? So how would someone go about putting this into use? That's what the remainder of this webinar will be all about. Automate your insurance agency, building the system that enables you to do those things. And not just any system. You want a proven system that multiplies your time by leveraging technology to reach more people in less time without spending money on low quality leads, spending hours and hours on the phone to find those who might actually be interested, buying multiple softwares, learning how to piece them together, purchasing templates, funnels, or websites, hiring gurus, coaches, or courses. Let's go back to the theory. If you are the best at converting your leads, you will ultimately be the winner. The one thing you need to know, the top producers move up in the world by finding ways to leverage their time. If you're like most people, you know you deserve work-life balance, but you're so deep in the day-to-day grind, you don't know how to achieve it. The game has changed. Let me hand it over to the guys I've brought out today to explain exactly how the Automate Your Insurance Agency system works. You might recognize one of them from my channel. He made some preposterous claims about himself and his brother making $165,000 in production in just 65 days. So I had to see exactly what he was doing to offer it to my audience. We have Jay Nesbitt and Frank Brennis of SetShowSold Insurance on with us now.
Thanks for having us, David. Like he said, my name is Jay Nisbet. I'm the founder of SetShowSold. We also have Frank Brennis on here with us.
Hey, thanks for having us, David. Awesome times.
Awesome. So like you said, you guys have seen him on your channel. I just wanted to give you a little background about who I am and what I do. So I'm the founder of SetShowSold. I also created Tails Casual Outfitters, mailgrowth.com, livetextmarketing.com, Zenfluencer, marketing automation, the 407 Group Marketing Agency, and a ton of other stuff that has gotten me to this point. So right out of college, I basically formed a clothing company. It was an online brand. I got to do a lot of cool stuff like go down to the Bahamas, film parties, swim with stingrays just to rep our brand. But what happened was we got knocked off, and that's a common thing in that area. I knew that wasn't for me. So I kept down that path of marketing and really understanding, becoming an expert in online marketing. So that led to me creating Zenfluencer Marketing Automation, which was basically a social media tool. And we had some success with that. After that, I wrote a book on Facebook ads. It's called Be Everywhere with Facebook Ads. And then that actually led into live text marketing. And so live text marketing really was some of the foundational pieces of what SetShowSold has become today. And throughout the past couple of years, I've been featured on things like Fox Business, Yahoo Finance, BuzzFeed, and a lot more. So right when COVID hit, there was a restaurant group that actually approached me, and they wanted to actually close their doors and try and take orders online. And so what I did, within 48 hours, we turned around a full Uber Eats style app, and that allowed them to keep their doors open when they have over 300 employees. So why am I telling you all of this? You know, over the last years, I've mastered online marketing and developed the SetShowSold framework. These systems have sold upwards of $20 million entirely online, right? And so SetShowSold has delivered insane results for our clients. Historically, that's been in the automotive, solar, and real estate spaces. When I first started my agency back in 2017, right out of college, I found a small niche in the automotive space. And this is one of the many dealerships that I was using this exact system at. Basically, we're just trying to pack our dealership clients' calendars completely full. We would use SetShowSold and build out automated sequences for them. And recently, back in December, I actually stopped and committed to the insurance space entirely. The car dealership space was great. It was really hard to compete with these multi-billion-dollar companies that are going after the same clients. And so even though I stopped working these dealership clients back in December, this is their calendar from March and April. But you can see that they're still getting these appointments being booked entirely automatically. So it sounds easy, right? Having an automated system to automatically have people ask you for business, that sounds really easy, but it really wasn't always like that. Confession time. When I first got hired to my very first dealership, it was actually due to nepotism. I'm completely serious. I was literally right out of college. I just started my first real business, which was the marketing agency. I knew I was capable, but I also had a family member in the automotive space. And so he stuck his neck out for me so I could run the dealership's marketing. They paid me, I ran my ads, everything was good. We generated over 300 leads that month, which was pretty good, in my opinion, for the $3,000 budget. But then there's a huge issue, right? They told me that my leads were awful. I didn't want to lose my first client, and I definitely didn't want that to look bad on the family member that stuck their neck out for me. So I spent hours, went lead by lead through this dealership's database. I made a chart of every single lead, how many times they were followed up with, and guess what I found? Out of the 300 leads, only half were ever called. The 50% that were called were at most called twice, but the majority of them were just called once, one single time. So I showed my findings to the dealer. He brought in a $2,500 per day consultant for 2 days. At this point in my life, I literally thought that type of money wasn't possible to make. But this consultant taught the dealership and myself a very important lesson. I hope that you guys take this home with you today. It literally will change your life. It's all about the set, show, and sold ratios. So how many leads are set into an appointment? That's your set ratio. How many appointments actually show up once they're a set appointment? That's your show ratio. How many leads that show up are sold? That's your sold ratio. So what did I do when I learned all of this, right? With my entrepreneurship degree from Florida State, yes, that is a real degree. I often get asked if that's real or not, and it is. I got to work. So 3 years later, here I am. And literally that's why I've named my company SetShowSold. And that's why we're here today presenting how you can do this for your insurance business. I had nothing to do with the insurance industry until I met Frank Brennis and his brother, Stephen Brennis. You might have seen them recently on David Duford's channel, like he had mentioned a few minutes ago. I would have never gotten here without Frank. He initially asked me to take a look at his marketing. And so Frank, if you want to kind of take it from here.
Hey, thanks a lot, Jay. Yeah, I wasn't always in insurance. I never thought I would be, but now I'm the owner of the Brennis Agency, which has become one of the fastest growing agencies, hitting over 2.4 million in just under 21 months. Before that, I had a stint doing apps for the last 20 years. I was featured on Forbes magazine and consulted for various apps that were sold in 2015 for $10 million. Also sold one for $11 million called All the Cooks. It was the #1 cooking app. Also, I was a consultant for the top 5 most downloaded casual games in the App Store and in history called Color Switch, which did $46 million in revenue in less than 12 months. Pretty amazing feat. And I was also a vice president for various startups in the digital ad space. I automated and scaled the international sales team for $28 million in less than 18 months with a company called Leadbolt. And I've been featured in books from my industry expertise. Marketing Growth Secrets and App Success Stories are currently on Amazon now. Spending nearly 20 years in ad tech gave me a unique perspective to the lead-based insurance industry. With the knowledge and expertise and Jay's technology, SetShowSold Insurance formed the agency in a box concept. The massive companies and disruptors form through serious adversity. Like diamonds under pressure, Steve Jobs was fired from Apple. Walt Disney was labeled as lacking creativity. Thomas Edison was considered too stupid to learn anything. And J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter as a single mother on welfare, if you can imagine that. My agency was obliterated when a key member of my team who had personally mentored just left. Countless hours of leading this key leader and helping her to build her own team under my guidance, gone. Think about that for a second. She packed up and moved on to a competitor. If that wasn't enough, she started taking team members as well. Now, I'm not talking about just one or two, 45 within 1 week. The Brennis Agency went from an overnight success to a standstill, barely generating half of what it once was. If you can hear it in my voice, I'm still kind of upset over that. Imagine being the golden child 1 month to a complete failure the next month. Regardless if you're doing 100,000 or 5,000 a month, sustaining your growth is a huge concern in this industry. Imagine how quickly it can be ripped from your arms. So here's a turning point. I decided to never let this happen again. I vowed to build a system that would do the following. It would work around my life, work for me, the agent, when I wasn't even thinking about it. A system that provided stability and predictability, something that allowed me to be in multiple places at once. And what happened next? Well, I tried the incentivized marketing game, but the leads were never actually interested at all. I hired the so-called gurus and coaches, and they all got paid in full and up front. How many of you guys on here have had that happen, right? It's ridiculous. But I had zero results to show for it. That was the worst thing. I tried making my own funnels and websites, but I had to learn to do it or pay high-end developers to do it. Who the heck has the time and money to do that? Or just buy templates from people claiming done-for-you service. Who's heard of that? So this took time away from my business, if you can imagine. I just try to focus on rebuilding my team then, and my personal production declined even further. Then I ran into Jay Nisbet.
As you know, at this point, I already had a proven system for car dealerships. At this time, I was already looking to leave the car business because the billion-dollar companies I was competing with. So Frank and I got together and we formed SetShowSold Insurance, and we made it specific to insurance agents. So Frank, what was our goal?
Well, Jay, that was pretty simple. To create something that was first and foremost agent-centric, agent-focused, and plug and play. That's right, plug and play. Our lives literally changed forever. The system started working. I started getting inbound calls from leads that I had spent hours, if not weeks, trying to get a hold of in the past. I exponentially multiplied my time by leveraging technologies so I could focus on what's super important, right? And that's earning more money, more commission in a 24-hour day. That's all you have. Making fewer dials than ever and spending more time with my family. Collapsing timetables. I had the choice to work harder if I wanted to grow, but was also able to hit my goals easier without bending over backwards. The best path to automating your business is to be the best at converting your existing leads. Because if you focus on that, everything else falls into place. So how on earth do you do that, right? Our insurance agents have been able to build massive success with SetShowSold Insurance, which has been called a true agency in a box. Well, not to mention Duford, he calls it money machine, right? This is a turnkey system for 3Xing, 5Xing, even 10Xing your production. This is not for everyone. This is for agents who, one, know how to sell and close. It will not close for you. Just provide more at bats. Number two, know that their biggest issue is getting in front of people. Look, If you're not afraid to pick up the dang phone, you will get in front of people. Number 3, know what it takes to make a sale, and you're willing to put in the work that it takes. We want to help you hit your monthly sales goals in 90 days. Let's see what other people have said and then show you how to do it yourself.
My name is Athen Polis. I'm a key leader here with Cemetery Financial Group. I've been with the organization since April of 2017, and I wanted to share a little bit of my experience with the platform and really what it's done for me. In only about a week in, what I've seen is just nothing short of mind-boggling. Leveraging the power of automation to more efficiently get in touch with and set more appointments has been a real game changer. So the way it's looked for me is my average activity level at about 3.5 to 4 years in is right around 200 dials per week to set 12 to 15 appointments. What the platform has done for me is really, it's been nothing short of amazing. The way it looks, my numbers have been 40 dials, spoke to 11 contacts, booked 10 appointments. It's put me at about 7,000 AP for the week, and I still have more appointments to run. So I know my numbers very carefully. I've basically tracked all my activity every week going back to day one, week one. So while the numbers don't lie, they definitely tell a story. And the story is this, that leveraging this platform, folks, you can really run your business much more efficiently. Spend the time, dedicate it to those income-producing activities. And with that, you're just going to see an incredible profitability. I'm looking forward to seeing what the next week's, months is going to bring to my business. So I really want to just send a special thank you out to Frank Brennas and Jay Nesbitt for really collaborating and bringing this platform to the forefront of our business. And just really looking forward to seeing how much positive impact it's going to create for a.
All right, so that was Athen Polis, and he was really great just because he had really good metrics before and after using us. I believe he ended his first week at around 12 or 13,000 in AP, and it was awesome just to be able to see someone that kept such good track of his numbers, because that's one of the key things in automating your insurance agency is actually knowing your numbers. So let's get into the 5 keys to automating your way to becoming a top producing agent. Number 1, you want to automate your repetitive and mundane tasks. And number 2, you obviously need to know your numbers. After that, number 3, once you know your numbers, now you can forecast your growth. And at 4, if you build a referral system, that is also compounding how many deals are coming in for the amount of work you're putting out. So once you have all of those things in place, build your team, and you will have a truly automated system that is working for you, that you're not bending over backwards to put together. And so let's get into how do you actually automate repetitive tasks, and let's explain why this is important. And so, what we've noticed, and obviously I'm, hoping that you see this as well, the tools that are available to insurance agents haven't really changed since 1950. Most people, obviously use a cell phone, not this rotary phone, and they might have, a stack of, printed out leads and not a full 1990s dentist office full of them. But you get what we're saying. We live in the 21st century. So if you're doing anything more than a few times a week, you either need to automate it or delegate it. Really, you need a system. And that automation in this system, that includes your lead outreach. That's the initial piece to growing your business. Before you have a sale, you have a lead. And so if you're automating that outreach or have a system for your outreach, then obviously you're going to continue growing your business. You're told to dial. Why not focus on calling only your most qualified prospects? You can't really do that if this is how you're handling your leads. The stack of papers, maybe you have a Google sheet, maybe it's Excel. So how do you do it? If that's what you're used to, obviously you don't know what else is out there. How do you do this? You do that by automating your outreach with a system. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be automated at first. And again, we don't recommend this system for people who aren't ready for it. And just a quick story on why that's important. Elon Musk, he relied too heavily on robots and automation way too early on in the process. That's why he had a ton of issues rolling out the Model 3. What he did was try to automate his production line, but he was trying to automate things that didn't actually do anything. It actually made things worse because he's automating issues that weren't actually there, right? And so if you start too early, it actually can cause issues. But the reality is, whether it's automated or not, without systems and processes, you're going to be stuck in that grind. When you take your breaks, so does your outreach, so does your income, and then your pipeline dries up and now you're starting over from zero. Let's go over some easy non-automated systems that you can take home today and implement yourself. There's a good chance that you're already doing these things. And really the key is to stick to this system. So an example could be, maybe instead of a daily goal or a weekly goal, you set a monthly goal. That's really helpful because you're not going to be as stressed out. If you try and make 50 calls each business day, just change it to 1,000 per month or 250 a week or something along those lines. That way you can take 2 weeks off, right? Just make sure that you get everything done in the first 2 weeks of the month. Following these longer term goals gives you the flexibility to work however you want during that time frame. You can still hit your goals. You can still make the same number of calls, but expanding that time frame makes it a little less stressful and you don't set yourself up for failure. If you fall behind, you're too limited in time to fix it if you're doing a daily goal. And that's when work starts to overtake your work-life balance because you're trying to play catch up right now. If you only have 24 hours in a day, something happens, you take half a day off. Now you're trying to fit everything that you used to do in a full day into 4 or 5 hours. So another cool thing that you can implement is called time blocking. Depending on what your goals are, just block out specific blocks of time on your calendar, and that way you can accomplish them in order. When you're on a specific task time block, that's the only thing that you should be focusing on. Maybe you only take appointments on certain days, or you only do it at certain times. I would say that one of the best things that you could do is hire an appointment setter. Hiring an appointment setter truly changes the game. Basically, you would set the goals, you would train them, and then you're just managing, right? It's still somewhat manual. You still have to do all those things like train them and get them set up, but it's also super scalable. If you want more money, hire another appointment setter. But the issues are that they can quit, they have limited schedule availability, or maybe they just fall short of your expectations and then you have to hire another one. So if you hire a dialer, you want to make sure that the expectations are very clear and you have metrics associated with them. You want to know when your dialer is messing up, right? And we do this going back to that set, show, and sold ratio. Their set ratio, if that's too low, that means that they're not good enough on the phone. They likely need more training. You need to walk them through how to get the appointment. If their show ratio is too low, they're either lying about setting the appointment just to, hit their goal, or they're not actually confirming the appointment and making sure that they're going to show up. If the sold ratio is too low, I'm kind of sorry to say, but this is likely you as the agent's fault. That means that you're not doing your job in closing the business. It is possible, but it's not as much of a factor that the leads aren't very good or the appointment setter isn't qualifying the person enough. But in most cases, I would say that if the sold ratio is too low, then it's likely the agent's fault. This is just a quick example, but something along these lines would make a manual system that clearly identifies the goals for you and your appointment setter. Let's say you set the goal to buy 100 new leads per week. You want 50 calls made per day minimum. You want a 20% lead to set appointment ratio. You want a 50% show ratio. And if they're not doing this, then obviously that appointment setter would probably need to do more sales training on getting that person to show up. And number 5, you only want to handle appointments between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Mondays through Friday. So again, this isn't an automated example, but it is a system. And if you follow that correctly, the system allows you to know without fail, you're getting 100 new leads per week. Your appointment setter is making a minimum of 50 calls per day, whether you're thinking about it or not. The appointment setter is putting 20 set appointments on your calendar per week, assuming that 20% set ratio, all of these appointments would be between 4 and 7 p.m., which is only 15 hours a week if it's Monday through Friday. And assuming a 50% show ratio, that would be 10 showed up appointments per week. So assuming that you as the agent close 50% of appointments, you'll make 5 sales in 15 hours of work every single week without fail. So again, you have to follow that system and you need to make sure that it's being managed properly, but the numbers don't lie. I mean, that's just how it works. Depending on what you sell, you know, those 5 sales could be some serious income in very little time. In mortgage protection, maybe that's $1,000 or $1,500 per sale. And so that's $5,000 to $7,500 per week that you're making in 15 hours. And so we just wanted to show you how we help to automate your lead outreach. So first of all, we create custom campaigns for your specific lead source, whether that's direct mail or Facebook, wherever you get your leads, we make a campaign for that. And so we customize each of these campaigns to obviously where you get them. And then we use that information that you get with your leads. Maybe it's loan amount like you see here, maybe it's a favorite hobby, favorite color, and we personalize them to the information that you give us. And so the second way that we automate this is really that piece of it is done. You know, we've created the campaign, you drop in your leads and our automated campaigns do the outreach. We even have rebuttals that are built in. So you can see up here, this was a direct mail lead. And a lot of agents, you know, they'll send out a copy of the lead that they got. That just sparks, you know, the brain a little bit. It gets them to remember why you're reaching out. And so when someone says, you know, I'm not interested, I don't know who you are, imagine this text going out automatically, right? And so imagine what that does to your conversion rate. And when you're not spending any time doing that, how much more free time you have. And so the key thing is the more people we have using this, the more intuitive these rebuttals and these campaigns can get. So the other way that we help to automate your outreach, we show you who your top prospects are automatically. And that way you're only spending time with your top leads. And so here's a couple examples. Frank, I don't know if you want to go over.
Yeah, I call this my Marlene A case. It was a call-in lead. That means it was a mail drop lead that called in, okay? And I had purchased it, and the lead age, I purchased it in 2019, so November 2019, uploaded into SetShowSold system on September 30th, 48 different touches later. 3 no-shows, closed deal on 11/24/2020. The APV is not so impressive, but it was pretty darn cool that I had really very little to do with that deal except go to the appointment and see it. This is Zonia H. This is a bonus lead that was purchased in January 6, 2020, uploaded into SetShowSold on 11/25/2020. 10 months later, the first response was within 24 hours. There was actually 3 no-shows and closed it on 12/1/2020. So literally closed it within a week. The APV on that, this is the happy part here, was 1752 on a National Life Group 30-year. Matter of fact, you actually see her here texting me saying, I want to sign up with a 30-year. I literally called her. It was literally done deal, just like that. And I actually remember asking her, you know, hey, which one of those do you want to think about? She goes, you know, I've been thinking about this for about 9 to 10 months now. It was phenomenal. She's like, I'm ready to go. I've been thinking about this too long. And that leads to something here, guys, that I want to address. How many people have you talked to that want to think about it, but that you never follow up with? You know, interesting enough, Jay, I mean, 80% of sales are closed at the 5th and 8th contact. So why are we doing that? What I love about our system is it automates that process for you. It does the heavy lifting. So let's take a look at another example here. So this isn't just a one-off thing. Take a look at this, 5,736 AP. And if you're look at all the touches there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 10 to 15 touches on this one. Here's another one, 2,308 88 AP there. The list goes on here. So I'm going to turn it over to Jay now to kind of go over the thought process behind this. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. So like I said a little bit ago, this is how we help you automate your lead outreach. So you can see this kind of deal pipeline that we put together. And so the way that we have it set up, it's basically designed so that you move your leads from cold to sold, ice cold to white hot. And so these are all the stages in the pipeline, but it's not just a CRM. It's not just a way to text with people. It's not just all these individual features. We actually have a smart dialer, and this is kind of how it works. We basically implemented lead scoring, right? And so most agents don't succeed because they're spending too much time down here on these cold, uninterested, they're not sure, they're cold leads. So what we do is help bring efficiency to that agent by allowing them to spend more time with the white hot people up here. And so when we look at this pipeline, now that it's vertical, let's look at how this smart dialer actually works. And so, there's other power dialers, there's other people out there that are, trying to do these sorts of things. But the thing that makes our smart dialer different is that we allow you to call people based on priority. Okay. You're not just calling people to call them. And a power dialer is great because you can make 2 to 3 times more calls, but you're still wasting 2 to 3 times more time, on people that aren't interested. So if you can call people based on the priority and based on how likely they are to close, obviously your conversion rate is going to go way up. And
so Jay, you're saying, so the people that have responded to you in a positive manner are going to have a higher priority than people that are just a fresh lead, even if you've paid $80 to $100 to you. Is that correct?
Exactly. That's why, it's all about your lead conversion rate. The person who is the best at converting leads is ultimately going to be the winner. And so it doesn't matter if it's an older lead, if they respond, that person should take priority in who you're following up with more so than, a more expensive lead that you just bought yesterday. That person that you just bought yesterday still hasn't responded. They haven't done anything that showed interest. And so we allow you to call and we prioritize these leads in a way that makes you more efficient because you're talking with more people, you're getting more at bats. And so an example of how this works, our smart dialer, basically you can select, I want to talk to everyone who responded. And so I could click on responded. In this example, let's just click on, appointment reminders. Let's talk to everyone who has set an appointment we haven't yet sat down with. Okay.
And that would be the highest priority, right? It'd be the highest priority person.
And so that's what these numbers are indicating, that priority, you want to start at the top, obviously, and work your way down so that you're spending time with those most qualified people.
Absolutely.
And so when you click on, we select the people that have appointments coming up, let's start calling them, right? And so our workflows are built out in a way, and the way that we designed this is so all of the key information is going to be available on the left over here, right? So this person, you're already dialing them, we're waiting on them to pick up, and we have a second to just see, what have we said in the past, primarily automated text and, all these sorts of messages in the middle that you can see.
That's a unified platform, basically unified on all fronts. There.
Any emails, any text, all their information is all in one place. And so once they pick up, obviously you're going to have that call. Hopefully it goes well. Maybe they don't pick up. So after this call occurs, you're basically going to have a little menu here, and we're going to be asking you, how did that call go? So obviously, if the call went well, you would just click on completed, and that lets us know to update that lead in the pipeline for you automatically in the background because you're saying that was a successful call. So next time you log in, they're going to be waiting for you now in that higher priority because you were able to get a hold of them. And so we know that, and it's going to be ready for you to make that dial next time you log in. If the call doesn't go well, and oftentimes it doesn't, during your onboarding, we basically have you record a couple different voicemails with scripts that we provide. And so these scripts are for various situations that occur throughout the sales cycle. right? And so we know where this lead is at in your specific pipeline. And that means we know what voicemail would make sense for that person. So if they had an appointment coming up, we basically would send out a voicemail that goes along the lines of, hey, this is Jay Nisbet. I was just calling you because we have an appointment coming up. I just wanted to see if there's anything else I could do for you. In the meantime, just give me a call back when you get the message. I just wanted to confirm that you're still able to show up, right? But if someone, they didn't show up to their appointment, the voicemail would be different. And so that voicemail would go something along the lines of, hey, this is Jay Nisbet. I had on my books that we had an appointment scheduled today, but we weren't able to connect. So I was just trying to see, what happened, if there's a time we could reschedule. I get life happens, just shoot me a text and we can schedule a new appointment. Right. And so we're sending out all these voicemails, something that you record one time, and now we're leveraging that using technology to send that out multiple times in the future. Imagine never having to leave another voicemail because it's done for you. Right. And these aren't spammy voicemails. Again, these are all in your voice. They all fit the scenario that they're in. And it makes it really high conversion rates. You're trying to set that appointment, you're trying to close deals. That conversion rate is everything. So after that call occurs, basically that menu goes away and you can see that voicemail has been left here. So after a call, typically there's a couple things that you might want to do. Maybe, you want to set a follow-up reminder and you can go up here and do that. Maybe you want to create a task for yourself, hey, ask her about whatever medication she's taking, whatever it is. You can also just make notes, remind yourself what actually happened on that call, what they said, any key information, their kid's name, something that makes it more personal. So when you meet with them, you come off very genuine, and maybe you want to set an appointment. And so you can go right in and set that appointment. And when you do that, we're automatically sending out appointment reminders. And so you can see that here. As soon as Stefan sets an appointment, that's going out, reminding them. And it's also sending them an email. So it's not just text, we do email. We have multiple communication channels that we use. And what we're trying to do is basically get them to confirm that. And once we confirm that, again, we update the pipeline, we stop sending messages so we're not, aggravating them. But the gist of it is that we're working in the background for you. You set the appointment and they show up more because of these automations.
Yeah, and Jay, one of the byproducts of this whole thing, when we're designing it, we're getting a lot of inbound calls. Mm-hmm. And if you see to your right there, you have access to final expense inbound call script and also mortgage protection inbound call script. So I think it's pretty darn cool to have that feature there for us.
Yeah, exactly. And that was, again, one of the things that people were almost overwhelmed with the amount of inbound calls that they're getting. On average, we're looking at about a 20% inbound call rate on our leads. And so we have tons of people that's literally why we put this in here. They didn't know how to handle that. And so it was a necessity to do that. Right. And so back to after this appointment is set, doing these things in the background for you, we're automatically putting that appointment on your calendar. And it's really crucial to understand that will only go on there if you're available. So if you have, whether it's family dinner, you're on vacation, it's outside of your working hours, we're not even going to allow that appointment to be scheduled, right? And so that makes, again, that work-life balance is such a crucial thing. So this enables you to keep that and preserve it and kind of set your work in a box. You don't want to be working 24/7.
Step 2, you got to know your numbers. I mean, let's face it. You're in this business. You got to know your number. Here's why it's important. Most agents don't even know their numbers. That's the thing that kind of frustrated me, that most agents didn't know their ratios. They didn't know their numbers. They didn't know anything. And so they buy leads to close deals and then hope they make a sale and hope that they make more money than they spend. That was crazy to me, Jay. And then top producers, let me tell you something. They know their numbers. Look them up. Talk to them. They know their numbers. How much they spend on leads, how much profit they made on the leads, how much they bought, how many of each of these leads they purchased, their conversion rates, the ratio of set appointments, the ratio of set appointments that actually show up, and the ratio of showed appointments that are sold.
So how do we actually automate the process of knowing your numbers? First thing we do is we store all of your numbers in one place. We also make this data accessible and visual. We show you the important metrics and key places within our system and software so that you know important things about your business, kind of like a cockpit. And number 4, we update your metrics for you in the background. Again, this is a turnkey automated system. When you first log in, you're basically going to see your agent dashboard. This is that cockpit I was talking about. So you get an immediate view of your total pipeline value. That's all of the unrealized value that you're sitting on right now. You also see the lead to sale conversion rate. And so that gives you an idea, and you can change this for certain time frames. Maybe you want to see what it was last month or the past 6 months. So you can see that and update that to make sure that you're always growing. You also visually see your pipeline and the deal stage of all of your leads. So what are your conversion rates that I was talking about? Your set to show to sold ratios, right? And all of these things allow you to forecast your growth, right? That's the third pillar. So here's why this is important. Once you know your numbers, you can accurately plan and figure out what you need to do in order to hit your goals.
It becomes predictable.
Exactly. And it almost becomes a game, right? When you gamify your business, knowing your numbers and using it as a game makes it more fun. And it also, what you need to do. If you play a game and you're trying to get to level 10, how do you do that? You have to know what score you need to get on levels 1 through 9. And as long as you're not overworking yourself, getting that point, you're still having fun throughout the process, exactly what you need to do to hit your goals. So once you do that and you understand, what steps need to be taken, you literally just do it, and that kind of ties in with this lead source report that we have. So whether you have leads from your IMO or from Facebook or Google, wherever it is, whatever that source is, you need to understand what your conversion rates are on all of those different types of leads. And so this lead source report just gives you a view of where you're making money, where you're not. And so you know your win ratio on each specific type of lead, and you also know what the total values are for those types of leads. And
yeah, this is what I really like here too, Jay.
Take it away.
Okay. Yeah. So, think about having a call report and going over and reviewing your calls. Everything on here you can review. You can review by inbound. You can filter by outbound. So in this case here, 73 inbound calls in the agent's first month as a result of automation. That's simply unheard of in the industry. Inbound calls.
And we take it a step further with agent reporting. And so if you have appointment setters, or some people call them dialers or virtual assistants, this is basically a leaderboard, so you can actually see how each of them are doing. So it's really crucial, if you're trying to step out of your business, if you're trying to run, an automated system, that the numbers and the metrics for each part of your business. So you can see where, your calls are coming from, whether it's inbound or outbound. You can see how many texts each agent sent or each dialer sent. You can also, use this to kind of audit them and even provide rewards. If you help me set 10 appointments this week, I'll give you a bonus, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and this is a real live looking one here. If you look at how many were sent, how many were delivered, it's just incredible, the delivery ratio and delivery rate on that. And then if you look to the far right there, it says including incoming calls. Think of 100 incoming calls. How many incoming calls have I ever, I'm asking myself this, have I ever had working here before automating? Simply incredible, Jay. I got to tell you the quick story of Stefan. When we started testing on my brother Stefan, we loaded 100 leads and he completely got overwhelmed. I believe it was like 40 inbound calls would come one right after the other. And so he literally had to turn it off. And I remember taking notes and then calling you and saying, hey, Jay, is there anything that we can do? And then, go ahead, tell him what happened, Jay.
Yeah. So basically what we added in was whenever someone calls in, And obviously, if you're in a situation like step-ins and it's an overwhelming number, you don't know who you're talking to. And so what we added in is basically a whisper campaign that says who, like the person's name, who it is that you're talking to, the type of lead, and other vital information like, whether it's what their house is worth or if it's their favorite hobby or color, anything like that, that
Exactly.
would give you enough to start that conversation, and pick up and act as if you're waiting for them to call back every time. So earlier we were covering, the appointments and how that kind of works, and we send out these automated reminders and things like that. But we also have appointment reports. It's really important to understand your set and show ratios. And so you can see all of that right here. How many are booked? How many have actually been confirmed through our automated text? How many showed up? And that's kind of up to the agent, to update as they see fit. And then if they don't show up, again, we're trying to send those appointment reminders. We're trying to get them to rescheduled. So that's not even a fixed number, that can go down over time as they reschedule. But it's really visual. You can see every lead, and you'll even notice down here in the source, it says, booked by lead. So these people are actually self-booking their appointments. Okay. And they're going right into these automations. And that's how you're kind of removed from this whole situation. But the key thing here is obviously knowing those numbers, and you see all of that, and it's very visual. All right. So the fourth pillar to automating your insurance agency is really to build a referral system. So when you have all the automated and mundane tasks taken care of, your numbers to the point that you have a good grasp on what it takes to hit your sales goals. Now you understand how important these referrals are. Instead of working 14-hour days to close a single sale, think about how great it would be to earn referrals from them and get 1, 2, 3, or even 5 referrals from that single lead, right? And then you start thinking about the next year, and when you're renewing that policy, what starts to happen? So at this point, if you have the right system in place and you're using your referral system properly, every holiday, birthday, policy anniversary, all of those become new entry points for you to ask for a new referral, or to review the policy that you already sold them. And so you can get multiple sales out of a single lead, right? And that's a crucial piece. Once you're kind of busting at the seams and you've automated everything, that's the next step.
So number 5 is you want to build your team. But here's the thing, you don't want to try to do this too soon. And here's why. When you have all these 4 previous pillars in place, you're ready to build a real team of killers. You want to have everything in place and busting at the seams, completely booked with sales calls and revenue generating activities, which I often say IPA. It's not beer, it's income producing activities there. And when you're at that level, it's easy to attract new recruits, and they'll be more motivated than ever to achieve the same thing for themselves. Just think about that, having a system, leveraging that, and having people just excited about going out and using it. So when you're focused on trying to do both at the same time, and I've done that so many times, you end up doing half a work, right? Who's had that? Who's experienced that here? But if you start too early, you're going to run into issues having to choose between writing business on your own or training teammates. Build a system that enables you to do these things at the same time, so you're not cannibalizing yourself when you focus on one more than the other.
So how do we actually automate the process of building your team? Well, we automate outreach to nurture your prospects. We ensure that they're taking the necessary steps to move forward with you, whether that's licensing information or anything required with your IMO. We allow for automated and standardized training for your downline. We have roadmapped a couple things such as specific insurance product training, how to sell mortgage protection or how to sell final expense. That way you can get your downline going quicker and more efficiently. We also have roadmapped recruiting chatbots, which you would leave on your Facebook page, and it would automatically funnel people into this system for you. You get your own recruiting funnel that showcases your accomplishments and provides credibility to these recruits. You send prospects to it by word of mouth or social media or job sites, or you just put a list directly into our system. They enter the pipeline and are asked to set a time with you and discuss the opportunity. And then we send them information on the next steps to get started if they're interested. If they're not, that's fine, because we automatically nurture them and follow up with them until they are ready. But all of this is easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
You're like most people, you probably don't need me to tell you that these things are important. You might even know your numbers and use time-saving practices to get more done throughout the day. You likely earn referrals and you have recruited agents under you. So you clearly understand that these things work. What I've just shown you is the exact system top producers are using to get 200 to 300% more productive. So what actually is included with the Agency in a Box by SetShowSold? You get an entire year of SetShowSold so that you can automate your entire agency, which allows SetShowSold to tell you who your top prospect is in the background for you. It's turnkey, automatic, happens when you're not even thinking about it. It allows you to earn more commission each month, make fewer dials every week, spend more time with your family, and it's ultimately going to collapse timetables for you. It multiplies your efforts. You're going to be in multiple places at once when you're doing this automatically in the background. You're going to be able to recruit a higher quality downline in less time than ever before. And getting started today ultimately means that you get access to insurance courses, which is a growing library of insurance training, so that you can watch and learn from top producers on how to sell things like mortgage protection, final expense, and even training on SetShowSold itself. You're going to get 20% discounts on the add-on services we have in our roadmap, which is things like appointment setters that are trained on our system to truly remove yourself from that situation. Imagine not only having this in place for your team and yourself, but also having appointment setters that are even making the calls for you. Imagine going from 250 dials a week or a day to 0 because you have someone that is now plugged into the system that we've created for you. It also would include 20% discounts on our instant allocation leads that would go right into these automations without you doing anything. Be sales training courses for you and your team. We have a lot in our roadmap, things like completely managed chat follow-up, a ton of things that we're hoping to get to. And obviously, because you're signing up today, that would be discounted.
Imagine if you had a team of people working under you. Your motivation carried them into driving sales that you get to benefit from. Just think of that for a second. Agency in a Box. It's the ultimate game changer. It's worked for my agency. Get an automated system to follow up with your leads for you without you having to worry about it anymore. Get the tools that literally show you your top prospects to stop wasting time with the time wasters. Who's had that? My gosh, that's annoying. Get a system that tracks every call, text, click to know exactly who's most qualified. You know what the best part is? You get all this done for you because you're an insurance agent. You're not a software developer. You're not a marketer. So you can focus on doing what you do best, closing deals, not learning how to do something that you're not passionate about. Right? Who's ever done that? So how do you get started? Right. We'll have a link to get you started with us. Go ahead and click on it now on the chat box down there. After this short form, you're going to get our pricing menu to compare our options, which I'll also discuss here in a bit. After deciding on the option that best fits you, we get to work. We have a lot more people on here today. A lot more than we ever expected, which is insane. And because we're completely plug and play, customized solution, it's entirely done for you, the agent, which is really why we'll be prioritizing our setup in the following order. So listen carefully. Number 1, we have 10 spots available for the lifetime deal. Yes, you heard it right. Lifetime deal. Who will be giving the priority over everyone else. This is a first come, first served basis, and it ends in exactly an hour from now. Number 2, annual plans will be prioritized next and are given between 2 to 4 months for free. Yes, free, depending on the plan you purchase. Number 3, for this webinar only, we're not starting a monthly rate at the time of purchase like we normally do. Instead, we're taking the non-refundable setup fee to save your spot in line. We get to work setting your system up for you as soon as you purchase, and your account will be ready according to the priorities just mentioned. So you get immediate access to our insurance courses, but the turnkey approach we take require time to set up, and will handle monthly plans in the order they are reserved. After you purchase, we need you to get us some information. It's pretty easy, which is outlined in your insurance courses account. You will have immediate access to this after purchasing your plan. We will send you daily updates on anything you have outstanding that holds up our team from setting up your account. It's that simple, guys. Once you're on, SetShowSold becomes your secret weapon. Automation, organization, no more pounding the phones. Freedom to work when you want, knowing the system is always working for you. Trying to do this yourself could cost you upwards of $3,000 a month. That doesn't include the time it takes to do so. Time is the most important thing out of this entire equation. You guys know that. The money it would take to hire someone to do it. I tried, trust me. And the knowledge you need to put it all together, forget about it. The ongoing maintenance required to make something like this so it doesn't fail on you, it's just overwhelming. 3, 2, 1. And if you're looking for final expense, it's $2,997 per year, over 2 months free plus bonuses. But maybe you're saying, I don't have right now to pay $2,997. So what we're going to do for you right now is the following. You reserve your spot today for $500. Thereafter, it's $297 a month. Okay, so that makes sense, guys. That's $500 reservation fee today. That slots you in, and you pay $297 a month for the final expense. Now, for mortgage protection and final expense, it's $3,497 a year. And if you buy an annual contract on that, that's 3 months for free plus the bonuses. But then I'm hearing you guys going, wait a minute, I don't have that kind of money right now. Not a problem. To reserve your spot, it's a $750 setup fee and $397 a month thereafter, after you're done setting up. That's what we're going to do for you. Okay. And then if you want the entire agency in the box, which includes final expense, mortgage protection, and recruiting, the annual fee for that is $3,997 a year, almost 4 months free, plus all the bonuses that we talked about. So our reservation fee for that today, if you want to just do that and you don't have that money right now, we understand. You're insurance agents. We get it. That's $1,000 reservation fee today plus $497 thereafter per month.
Hey, Frank, I just had someone actually text me personally asking about this lifetime deal. So let me go over that real quick. And he also asked a couple other questions I'll get into. So we have 10 spots available for this, and that comes out to $6,997. There are no additional fees. We have the ability for you to add your own communications service. If you use ours, obviously we do have to bill that usage, but you do get the best discount that we offer with this lifetime deal, as well as our annual agency in a box. So I just wanted to hit that really quick and really just kind of go over, how easy it is to make a return on this. So if your average deal is $1,000, if that's what you're making in commission per deal, then that's only 7 deals to cover the lifetime agency in a box package. Again, we only have 10 of these. I'm not sure what count we're at now. It honestly is most likely lower than that. But don't you think you can sell just 7 deals with us and cover that initial investment? And then you have the rest of your life to benefit from it, right? But not everyone is going to be able to take advantage of that. So I wanted to put this in your mind as well. If you do just the agency in a box, our recruiting, mortgage protection, and final expense on an annual basis, you're getting all these discounts as well. And it only takes 5 sales over the next 12 months using this system to get a positive return. And it's not going to take that long. When we looked at a random sample of our agents on various levels of insurance experience, the average day to first sale was under 11 days. Okay. On average, they had been with us 78 days when we did this study, and they averaged 6 sales. So the average time to first sale and the average sales cycle was 11 days. That's how long a lead is in our system until it's sold. And on average, they were putting in 65 leads per week. Okay. So we have a ton of people who have gotten positive ROI in 24 hours. And so the rest of this webinar, we're just going to show a couple testimonials of what other people have said about us. And you guys are feel free to ask questions and put anything that you're interested about down in the comments, and we will get back to them as soon as possible. But I do want to recommend, before I put these videos on, we're setting these up in order of that priority that we told you, the lifetime deal, and then the agency in a box annual plans, and then the monthly plans. You're reserving a seat, and we're going to be working around the clock to get everyone set up. We have a ton of people on here. I can't thank you guys enough. I just wanted to reinforce that, we're working around the clock to get everyone set up as quickly as possible. So if you have any questions, leave them below. And the rest of this time, we're just going to be showing a couple of these testimonials, and hopefully you guys see exactly what we're doing for insurance agents. Anyways, I really appreciate your time today, and feel free to ask anything. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Bye.
Hey guys, this is Stefan Brennis, agency owner with SJB Financial Group. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Guys, brace yourself. What you are going to experience with this system is literally close to magical. I uploaded leads the first night, and the next morning I had over 30 inbound calls. I had to unplug from the system. This morning I was at an appointment at 10 a.m. and the system booked me an appointment. So imagine being at 2 places at one time. This system allows you to do that. Imagine being able to follow up on all the leads that you couldn't get in contact for before in the past. The system allows you to do that. It's incredible. Imagine knowing the value of your leads, knowing what you paid for it, and then as it goes through the campaigns, the lead value keeps getting bigger and bigger. So you're going to see the money that's available to you potentially. So guys, stay tuned, watch the videos, and fasten your seatbelts. You're about to board a jet.
All right, guys. I don't know what to say. This this appointment setting program is it's phenomenal. I uploaded 100 4- or 5-year-old leads yesterday, and as of this morning, I had 3 set appointments. I was sitting on the Peloton this morning, and I had my phone there, and Frank had me download the mobile version of it as well. I was just following up with people and just setting appointments, real simple. So out of the 100 appointments, I only had 11 that said, "Hey, take me out of here." I got people that I'm still talking with, trying to get them set, but 3 appointments on stuff that I had no resolution with, and I likely was not going to be continuing with them, unless I hired a dialer that was going to do that work for me. But within like 7 minutes yesterday, I had 36 or 37 responses. So it's very easy for anyone to really do this and just get your old leads uploaded. Makes it very easy to increase your ROI. And other than that, it's just easy program. You get to see all the conversations that are happening and the way that the people are interacting, the leads are interacting with you. And then you can create your own templates on the fly as well. The Google Calendar integration is great. So just grateful for Jay and Frank on this, because this is exactly what I've been looking for. Thanks, guys.
I don't know what to say. 3:45 today, I uploaded my leads into SetShowSold. In less than a minute, my phone started ringing. By 4 o'clock, I had scheduled an appointment that I was on the phone with for a while, as well as missed 6 other calls. I want to say thank you, Frank, for showing this to me. Thank you, Jay, for creating the technology and the software for this. Dude, I can't wait for the rest of the time. I'm going to make this short so I can get back on and get back to these people I miss. Everybody have a wonderful day. I highly, highly suggest everybody get on this program.
So 24 hours after uploading 100 bonus leads from October and November of 2017, having 4 of those appointments set through the system, 3 of them were automated. So they self-set their own appointment. This guy was a lead that was a 50-cent lead from 2017. And he told me that no one had called him in the last 7 years. My records indicate that I called him 5 times. So that means he got at least 15 phone calls from me, if not more. And, he's a guy that I would have never reached out to ever again unless I had a dialer kind of just going through my leads, as I sometimes do, or I got bored and I was, going back to the very beginning of when I started here with Symmetry. So I got these leads uploaded yesterday around 2:30, and it was about 3:30 this afternoon when I went ahead and closed. I closed him for $2,200 with Americo. So as soon as I get reactivated with Americo, that policy will go through pretty quick. So $4,400 or 4,400% return on investment from a 50-cent lead, right? And then for the program itself, it more than covered my first initial investment in this program. So, within 24 hours, I paid for this over and over and over again, so I'm looking forward to many more as I upload my next batch of 100 leads here in the next few minutes.
Hey, this is Steven Jackson, agency owner with Symmetry Financial Group. Just want to give a quick review on the SetShowSold badass system. I got to tell you, it totally blew my mind. I came in with pretty high expectations. And so I wanted to really put the system to the test and, try and break it and just, see how it really worked and the integrations and all that kind of stuff. And so the first day I actually uploaded it was 499 days old. So these were leads that I had bought in 499 days ago, and they were 50-cent leads at that point. So they were at least 2 to 3, maybe 4 years old. And so I uploaded those, and within minutes, I literally was getting texts and phone calls, and I set 3 appointments the first day off of uploading 50 leads that were super old. And then I kind of did that the rest of the day, uploaded another 50, again, about the same time frame. Those were 50-cent leads, some 1A, some 4A, but again, they were, close to 500 days old. And so, and then I set another couple appointments from there, had some recruiting going on, and it was all done from my cell phone. I was able to jump into the software online as well too, and just integrate that way and work in things, get my calendar set up, all the voicemail recording set up, and the templates, everything was in there. I got to tell you, you better jump on this now. I don't know what the pricing is going to be on it later, but it was definitely worth every penny spent, and I felt like I got the best value possible. And this is just the beginning from the system and stuff with uploading my leads. So highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's really going to change your profit and loss within the company, and using those old leads that are just sitting around doing nothing. So jump on it while you can.
Well, the simplicity of onboarding new agents into this current system is awesome. We've got 3 new people up and running within a week. They're already starting to see success. I'm excited just to get this out to the entire team as they start to earn the right to be able to become a SetShowSold user. The updates that we saw today from Jay and Frank regarding final expense and recruiting. I don't know if there's anyone else that's being more innovative at the moment. The ability to source out a dialer as well in order to be able to work the contacts and just really get you to be at a point where all you're doing is running appointments and closing deals. It's kind of the whole idea why we signed up for this anyway, right? It's in order to free up our time, buy back our time for a very minimal cost. The startup cost on this, guys, is ridiculous. It's very minimal in my opinion. Especially when you consider the amount of time that you spend contacting your leads, spending 4 to 8 hours every day just on the phone, dialing, pounding the phones just to get those appointments set. So between this and an outside dialer, I think I think we're going to be able to scale our agency to 150 to 200,000 a year very shortly. So once we get a few more people on board as well, you'll see our agency really starting to grow. So just want to thank Frank and Jay for their innovation and always, willing to learn and to listen to us, the people that are actually using it, in order for positive feedback. That way we can help grow this all together.